Yeah. Fired up. This one's for the drivers.
Out in the shop, late night lights, grease on our hands, chasing lap times. Every turn, every line we find, trying to build that edge you feel when you drive. From the blacktop tracks to the dirt out back, we've been putting in work, yeah, we live like that. Not just fast for a lap, we make it last. So when it counts, you're gone on the gas. We don't guess, we know what it takes. Every set of build from the ground we break. If you want that feel when the car locks in, you're in the right place. Let's go in. Yeah, we built for the win. Hammer down, let it ride, do it all again. From the green flag flying to the checkered drop, we're the reason you're leading Tier 1 setup shop. Tier 1, take it straight to the front. League nights, open runs, we're the ones you want. Dialed in speed, yeah, we don't miss shots. If you wanna win races, Tier 1 setup shop. Got weekly sets ready to roll. Quality trim sharp, race pace controlled. Builders in the lab, yeah, they stay on it. Every tweak, every change, we gain on it. Need a custom fit, yeah, we do that too. Built to match your style, what you like to do. And it ain't just speed, it's a team right here. We ride together every lap, every gear. Yeah, we test, we tone, we put in the miles. Turn bad weeks into victory smiles. From rookies to pros, we're all about growth. Now fire that motor, let's get to the front. Yeah, we built for the win. Hammer down, let it ride, do it all again. From the green flag flying to the checkered drop, we're the reason you're leading Tier 1 setup shop. Tier 1, yeah, you know the name. When the pressure's on, we bring the game. From the shop to the track, yeah, we don't stop. If you wanna win races, Tier 1 setup shop. Tier 1. Till we build, till we build, till we build, Tier 1 setup shop.
Looking to take your racing to the next level? You need speed and you need style. At Tier 1 Setup Shop, we'll help you hit the track with total confidence. We provide race-winning setups for all three eNASCAR series, Cup, Xfinity, and trucks, plus a huge variety of asphalt oval cars. We've also brought that performance to the dirt. Winged and non-winged sprint cars, micro sprints, dirt midgets, all built by racers who know how to win. And now, get the perfect look. We offer professional wraps and graphics with Tier 1 wraps. Multiple feature artists make it easy to find a design to fit your exact needs and budget. Get what you need when you need it with individual setup purchases, or get full weekly access with a Tier 1 subscription. Tier 1 Setup Shop. You're more than a customer, you're part of the team.
This isn't just another sim race, this isn't just another online league, and this isn't just another trophy on a shelf. This is the Charity Cup Series.
Drivers choose the charity. Talent chooses the winner. The culture is strong, but the competition is stronger. Most events focus on just one cause, not here. Each driver selects a charity to race for, leaving dozens of causes in contention as drivers fight for a place in the top 5.
Think you've got what it takes to join the Charity Cup Series? Find a cause you believe in and buckle up. This is more than your everyday sim racing experience. This is the Charity Cup Series.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tier 1 Studios. My name's Pat Wilkinson, up in the booth. Joining me tonight are the voices inside my head alongside my good friends, myself and I, as we rejoin the Wild West Racing League for their first race of the Wild West Racing League 1987 Legend Series here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 80 laps under the dying light of a beautiful day here in North Carolina. Right on board with the 22 of John Sauer. Through turns 3 and 4, let's take a look at some of our information for this race out here tonight. Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 1.5 mile quad oval configuration, 675 feet above sea level, 45 mile an hour pit road speed limit, 65 degrees in the air, and on the racing surface, 1 mile an hour wind from the north. Out here tonight, 80 laps of green flag action with just under 5 minutes to go in practice. We'll have a 5-minute qualifying and then 5-minute warm-up. Make sure everybody's ready to race. Only 9 cars in here so far tonight. Actually, Michael Lovelace coming to save the day, rounding out a nice 10-car field. Michael Lovelace, excuse me. Ty Sykes also joining in at the last moment. Primarily Chevy and Buick field out here tonight. '33 of Brandon Harris in the Budweiser number 33. Classic paint schemes out here tonight with the Wild West Racing League. I was also running a unique scheme. That was actually the thumbnail photo for this race out here tonight. We'll be sure to get some more thumbnail quality photos before we go green out here tonight. Getting a little bit of interior view down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2 on board with the 33 still. Let's go on over to Brighton Coleman, also into the session. Number 4 Folgers Coffee Chevrolet through turns 1 and 2 under the golden sun. Off of 2, plumes of smoke ahead. Everybody really struggling to get to grips with these cars out here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is definitely going to be one of our more unique series. Shorter series as well, so that shouldn't be too painful for anybody to tolerate. 16-round series, 4 races through the chase. Charlotte, Wilkesboro, Michigan, Darlington, Daytona, Talladega, excuse me. Texas, Richmond, Homestead, Miami. Las Vegas, Bristol, Atlanta 2008, iRacing Superspeedway for the first time on the calendar. Dover, Daytona, Chicagoland, and a championship race at Auto Club Speedway under the lights. That'll be some serious fun. Down at November 15th, rounding out the end of our schedule for that, towards the end of the year. I believe the plan right now is we're going to run every series out. So ARCA is going to come to an end, get replaced by the Dirt Tour in a few weeks' time. Late models are going to be replaced by a Indy 2000 series, oval series, so that'll be fun to watch. Depending on when I go back to work, it should be the first week of September, so I really have 4 weeks left of mainstream weekday broadcasting left, but we'll make sure to make the most of it as we roll through turns 1 and 2 with the number 4 once again. Ty Sykes and Michael Lovelace out on the racetrack now. 68 Meals on Wheel, Water Wheel Foundation, number 68, Buick out here tonight. Really putting the pedal to the metal, running that high side. Sorry about that. Talking to our friend over from the VTuber series, who unfortunately we did not broadcast for today, Ruku Takahashi, who's expressed interest in running potentially tomorrow night with the ARCA series over at the Coliseum on the dirt. .44 of Tanner Ensign we're on board with now in the WIO. No, that's the Stanford Witt Foundation number 44. Very pretty purple and white classy race car. As we roll through turns 3 and 4, light beginning to fade, lights coming on here at Charlotte. Green flag, green flag, green flag for Tanner Ensign. Start of his first flying lap under the lights here at Charlotte. Running the high line into turn 1. Whoa! Losing it early and plowing into the wall. 44 of Ensign taking himself out into the entry of turn 1. Racetrack cooling off just enough to make it difficult. Jump on over to Scott Rush in the Raiders Wasteland 04. Through turns 1 and 2. Managing to keep it a little bit more steady than Ensign did. Sorry, Tanner, just did. This broadcast is brought to you in part by WIO Outlaw Custom Diecast, the Stanford Witt Foundation, Redline Radio, and Raiders Wasteland, the premier DayZ experience on Xbox, veteran-owned and operated. Raiders Wasteland offering something for every gamer looking to survive the zombie apocalypse weekly events for PvE and PvP players in different maps for all to enjoy. Join the Discord today at Raider PvE, RAIDER PvE. This broadcast was also brought to you in part by Rock Bottom Racing, Tier 1 Ramps, Tier 1 Setup Shops, and Tier 1 Studios here on YouTube. 04 of Scott Rush up to 6th at the moment. Less than, just above 3/4 of a second behind. Oh, now down to a full second behind, excuse me. As he crosses the start-finish line down in 7th, will he improve? He does, up to 6th. Out here tonight, .69. Nice. Behind the leader. John Sauer, Keith Ayers, 0.05 between them. Will Moore, 0.2 behind. Michael Lovelace, 0.48 behind. Brighton Coleman, 0.65. Scott Rush, 0.69. Cliff Adams, Brandon Harris, 0.85 and 8.6 respectively. Tice Sykes, 1.35 behind at the moment. Jacob Schaffet, I'm not sure, has made it back into the session out here tonight. One of Ty Sykes trying to keep the momentum going off of turn 4. Into the quad oval, past the restart zone we go. Ty Sykes in the number 1. Does not improve position. So we're not waiting on me. I believe Jacob Schaffet will not be running tonight. Dakota Henderson out on the racetrack in the Valvoline number 5. Down the backstretch towards turns 3 and 4 we go. Solid 11-car field out here tonight. Trying to run all the way down on the bottom, slide back up into the midline, up into the wall. Dakota Henderson, that's going to be his run out here tonight. Good enough for 5th, parking it just before the flag stand. Qualifying over. Jacob Schaffet not in the session. Gonna be a 5-minute warm-up before we go racing under the lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Qualifying over as we head into a 5-minute warm-up under the lights here at Charlotte. Let's give you all a little bit of on-track action so you can all see a little bit of what everyone else is going to be seeing out here tonight. Oop, 29 Hardy's machine. Who's the 29? Will Moore in the 29 Hardy's machine. Might be helpful if I can get it in gear. These cars don't have anywhere near as much aerodynamic assistance to help them out as we've seen in the O'Reilly's ARCA and Next Gen cars. As you can already tell, I am already fighting this wheel. And fighting the stick shift. Really trying to keep it nice and low. This is the days before restrictor plates, so this is going to be some really fast and fun action. Oop, I clipped the bottom of the apron there, but that's fine. Through the quad oval, green flag is out for my own personal flying lap out here tonight. All the way down to the white line, sliding a little bit up past the midline through turns 1 and 2. Laying back down on the throttle all the way up against the wall, off of turn 2, down towards turn 3 we go, past the inside chicane for the Roval. Really fighting this thing. There's no power steering in these cars to help you out either, so I'm really fighting this thing, keeping it around. Through the quad oval we go once again. Checkered flag for the session is waving. Apparently that was the second fastest time in the session, so well done to me. Had to have a little bit of fun. Oops, wrong button. We're gonna grid with everybody else, just so we can get started a little bit quicker here. Take a look at the grid. John Sauer, Keith Ayers, Will Moore, Tanner Ensign, Dakota Henderson, Michael Loveless, Brighton Coleman, Scott Rush, Cliff Adams, Brandon Harris, down in 10th, Ty Sykes down in 11th. Me, Pat Wilkinson, obviously racing, and Jacob Schaffet not in the session. Not sure if he had a connection issue, but he is no longer in the session for the race with us tonight. Hopefully, Jacob, you're tuning into the broadcast and enjoying the show. Waiting on the final few cars to grid. I believe we were waiting on the 33 of Brandon Harris. Who's this? Oh, that's Cliff Adams in the 78. My apologies. We are gridding now, ready to go racing under the lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for 80 laps of racing action. Keith Ayers leading the way. Oop, John Sauer and Keith Ayers, excuse me. 22 in the 19. Oop, turn that off. 22 in the 19. John Sauer, Keith Ayers, Tanner Ensign down in 3rd and 4th alongside Will Moore. Scott Rush, Dakota Henderson side by side. Brighton Coleman and Brandon Harris. Cliff Adams and Ty Sykes at the tail end of the field. Michael Loveless. Michael Loveless back down pit road. Michael Loveless may have missed the race start. He is not on the track. 68 of Michael Loveless no longer in the session according to my timesheet. Down in 11th place. That is a surprising turn of events. He disappears from Discord. Turn 4 we go, ready to race out here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Green flag, green flag, green flag is in the air. We are racing in 1987 with the Wild West Racing League. 22-29 in the 5, charging down towards turns 1 and 2 we go. 19 in the 44 on the high side, 19 sliding in right behind the 29. Bumper to bumper action as we slide through turns 1 and 2, trying to keep their cars straight out here tonight. Michael Loveless with a radio issue last minute is out of the race before it even begins. Very unfortunate way for his race to be going. Through turns 3 and 4 we go. 22, 29, 19, 44, 5, 4, 78, 33, 04, and the 1. Only 10 cars left in this race with just under 80 laps to go. 22 and the 29 running each other all over the racetrack out here tonight. really putting some pressure on each other. 29 of Will Moore up the inside, looking to make the magic happen down into turn 3. Whoa! Big run into the turn 3. 29 sideways into the entry, managed to recover it. What a save from the 29 Buick. Back through the quad oval we go. 44 of Ensign and the 5 of Henderson hot on his heels now. Back through the quad oval we go. John Sauer still leading the way. Dakota Henderson down in the Valvoline number 5. Classic sounds of NASCAR off of turn 2. I love the little foot fan down there. So goofy. 44 of Ensign up to the high side off of turns 3 and 4, right up against the wall. Got to make sure you don't clip that too hard, otherwise you'll get sucked up against it. Through the quad oval we go, back around through the start-finish straight, and into turns 1 and 2. 44 and the 19 of Tanner Ensign and Keith Ayers side by side. 44 sneaking up on the high side, going past the leader of John Sauer. Tanner Ensign in the lead of this race. Down into turns 3 and 4 we go. In the Stanford Whip Foundation number 44. Back through the quad oval, past the grass, and into turn 1 we go. Letting the car wind down on its own, rev out on its own power. Start jumping down to the tail end of the field here. 33 of Brandon Harris. Third to last car on the racetrack. Number 33, Budweiser Machine, falling back off of Scott Rush, Ty Sykes, and Cliff Adams behind him. Cliff Adams in the 78, 5 1/4 seconds behind the leader in the Yingling number 78. Trying to keep the momentum going out here tonight. Trying to keep that car together and run the race he can as we jump back up towards the leaders. Start of lap 7 this time by. 19 in the 5 side-by-side. Charge through turn 3 for a little bit of side-by-side action. One car up into the wall off of turn 4. Managed to probably get it saved. Back through turns 1 and 2 under lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 44, 5, 19. Top 3, Bryton Coleman in the 4, Will Moore in the 29, John Sauer in the 22 starting to fall back. Everybody trying to get some single file action going here. Five putting the bumper to the 44, moving him out of the way through turns 3 and 4. 5 Dakota Henderson trying to make the magic happen up the inside. 44 a little sideways across the start-finish line. 5 of Dakota Henderson in the Valvoline Machine up to the lead of this race with a beautiful move on Tanner Ensign, giving a bit of a shot to the bumper of the number 44 up into the wall. Off of turn 2, not doing him any favors. 44 looking to return the favor. Down into the bottom of the racetrack into turn 3. Both cars pretty evenly matched. 5 of Henderson laying on the top a little bit earlier. Starting to pull away once again out here tonight. 1/10 of a second up. Down into turns 1 and 2. On the bottom of turns 1 and 2 now. 44 trying to go just that little bit deeper into the bottom of the turns. Get back into the draft, about 2-3 car lengths between the two. 44 starting to reel him back in. Slowly yet surely turning up the wick out here tonight at Charlotte. 10 of 80 this time by, 70 laps to go. Start jumping back down into the field a little bit more, down to the 29 Buick of Will Moore once again. Down 2 from where he started. Scott Rush in the Raiders Wasteland, 0-4, hot on his heels, trying to catch back up. Scott Rush up 2. Running down the number 4 of, Scott Rush running down the 29. 29 the 0-4, trying to catch back up to Brighton Coleman. About a second and 3/4 up the road. Off of turn 2 we go, down the backstretch. Rest of the field spread pretty far behind them. John Sauer, almost 2 seconds behind, 3 seconds behind. Ty Sykes another 2 seconds behind him, with Brandon Harris and Cliff Adams hot on their heels, within a second of the pair of them. .29 in the 0-4. 29 starting to fall back off of Scott Rush out here tonight. Tire wear is going to be everybody's nemesis out here at Charlotte, with these cars having very limited aero to help out. These guys are going to be plowing tight, as you can hear the screaming of the tires off of turns 3 and 4. We charge back into the quad oval we go. That's a much better example. Iva Henderson still leading the way. Out here with the Wild West Racing League 1987 Legends Series. Here on a beautiful Sunday night, Wild West Racing League brought to you in part by WIO Outlaw Custom Diecast, the Stanford Witt Foundation, Redline Radio, and Raiders Wasteland, the premier DayZ experience, and Xbox, veteran owned and operated. Raiders Wasteland offering something for every gamer looking to survive the zombie apocalypse. Weekly events for PvE and PvP players in different maps for all to enjoy. Join the Discord today at Raider PvE, Raider PvE. This broadcast is also brought to you in part by Rock Bottom Racing, Tier 1 Wraps, Tier 1 Setup Shops, and Tier 1 Studios here on YouTube. Brandon Harris down pit road. There we go. Not sure if he's had a crash. Does not say he has. The car running down in 10th will now go a lap down to Dakota Henderson out here tonight. Start jumping back down through the grid here. Will Moore down pit road this time. John Sauer we're on board with now. Ty Sykes right behind him as we roll through turns 1 and 2. Brandon Harris still down pit road. Michael Lovelace jumping to pit road and is on the racetrack. 20 laps down out here tonight. Michael Lovelace back out on the racing surface. We have our 11th car on the track. Woohoo! Will Moore still down pit road getting his service. Brandon Harris back out as well. Will Moore off of pit road. Dakota Henderson just rolling through turns 3 and 4. Cliff Adams in the 78 starting to make up some time here. He's up 3 positions from where he started. Starting to pick up the speed through turns 3 and 4. Running down the lap car of Will Moore, I believe that is. No, that's Brandon Harris. Yes, that's Brandon Harris. Starting to run him down just ahead. 1 of Ty Sykes in the 22 of John Sauer. Fighting it out for 7th just behind him as we charge through turns 1 and 2. Back through the quad oval we go, 23 of 80 this time by. Dakota Henderson just off of turn 2 now. Apologies, folks, it's not the most entertaining broadcast. Michael Loveless down 19 laps. He's going to have some work cut out for him. But knowing Loveless, he's usually pretty fast, so we'll have to see what he can do out here tonight. Iva Henderson still leading the way. 1.6 ahead of Tanner Ensign and Brighton Coleman. Coleman catching up to Ensign now. This is the battle for second. Scott Rush not looking to be left behind either. 4 of Coleman and the 44 and the 04 all fighting it out for second place. The 4, 44, and the 04. Who let this happen? Tanner. Brighton Coleman sliding past the 44 of Tanner Ensign. .04 Scott Rush trying to reel in Ensign as well. Brandon Harris jumping to pit road after a bit of a crash by the looks of it. Let's jump back and take a look. Oh! I'd say so. He clipped the quad oval wall, ripping the front right off of that race car. Down onto the grass, trying to get it stopped. Pulling it off and managing to prevent a caution from coming out. Brandon Harris in the 33 down pit road for a monstrous crash out here tonight. .28 of 80 this time by. Seven cars left on the lead lap. 22 of John Sauer. Whoa, spinning it onto pit road! Managed not to hit the wall. Well, might get a black flag for reversing on pit road. Ty Sykes and 1. And Cliff Adams in the 78 trying to run away with it. Ty Sykes trying to reel in the 78 just ahead of him, excuse me. Cliff Adams in the 78. Less than a third of a second up the road. .31 of 80. Henderson making some serious time out here tonight in the number 5. Henderson leading the way. Coleman 1.7 behind. Starting to fall back once again. Tanner Enzyme not doing much better. 3/4 of a second behind. Brighton Coleman still trying to pull away from Tanner Enzyme here. Scott Rush down in the 0-4. Watching the 44's taillights slowly pull away out here tonight. Cliff Adams in the 78, a good ways back, just entering turn 3 now. Ty Sykes right on his heels. Keith Ayers a lap down behind the 1 and the 78. Will Moore right behind him. This is the battle for 7th. A lap down. John Sauer down 2 laps. Brandon Harris. Look, Brandon Harris apparently is out of the race. Very unfortunate due to that crash just a few laps ago. 68 of Loveless will at least get 10th out here tonight. Jacob Schaffet missing the session. Very unfortunate way for this race to be going. Only 11 drivers in it. 10 left. With 4 of the 10 cars still in it, laps down. 5 of Henderson running away with it. Fiva Henderson just dominating the field out here tonight. Brighton Coleman still falling back 2.25 seconds. Tanner Enzyme within striking distance, 22 of John Sauer. A few laps down behind him, helping him out as they charge into turn 3. 44 of Enzyme. Trying to keep the pedal to the metal here. Sauer with some serious speed on the inside, though. 44 of Ensign down pit road this time. Henderson leading the way. Brighton Coleman staying out. Scott Rush staying out. Ty Sykes and Cliff Adams staying out. Five of Henderson staying out again. Five of Henderson down the backstretch. Down into turn 3, officially halfway into this race. Down pit road this time, Brighton Coleman up to the lead of the race. Scott Rush staying out with him. Ty Sykes staying... Nope. Cliff Adams, excuse me, down pit road. Tanner Ensign down a lap. Coleman and Rush are the only two who have not yet pitted. Coleman down pit road this time. Rush down pit road this time. Henderson still down pit road. Question is, who's going to be the leader? Once everything's set and done, Keith Ayres the lead car on the racetrack at the moment. Ty Sykes jumping to pit road. Did Sykes have a crash? Ty Sykes crashed. Oop. Oh. Broke his steering. Had a radio issue and blinked back into the race with a steering problem of some kind. What an interesting predicament. Still no cautions at lap 42. Brighton Coleman and Scott Rush still in the lead. Keith Ayres across the start-finish line, taking the lead away. New leader, Keith Ayres. Will Moore, 6 seconds behind him. Tanner Ensign, half a second behind him. Let's jump on down to Will Moore in the 29 Hardy's machine. 44 of Ensign and the 68 of Loveless side by side. Loveless still down 18 laps in 10th place. At least he's beating Brandon Harris and Jacob Schaffet and me out here tonight. 29 getting the doors blown off him from Tanner Ensign. Ensign with a huge head of speed. .44 Ensign trying to run down. Keith Ayres just ahead of him. 5 of Henderson hot on his heels, though. They approach 4 seconds. Now down to 3 3/4 of a second. Off of turns 3 and 4. Through the quad oval we go. Down to 3 1/4 seconds on Keith Ayres. Ayres really trying to put the pedal to the metal, not going to have enough speed to outrun the might of Tanner Ensign and Dakota Henderson. Through turns 1 and 2. Five in the 44. Really all over each other's bumpers here. Keith Ayres now in viewing range. Quaker State number 19 Buick trying to run away from Tanner Ensign and Dakota Henderson. Henderson up the inside. John Sauer jumping to pit road. Not sure what happened to him. Sauer with a problem spinning out in the pits again. You jump back live. 19 of Keith Ayers still leading the way. John Sauer down in 8th. Getting towed back to pit road after a spin off of pit road, or onto the entry of pit roads, excuse me. Five of Henderson and Tanner Ensign sliding past the 19 of Keith Ayers. Apologies for that. I actually got called away for a quick second there. That's my own fault. Apologies for that. Five of Henderson scraping against the wall off of turn 4 through the quad oval. 44 of Ensign straight up the inside and back up into the lead of this race. Henderson not going to let him have it that easy, though. Right back on the heels of the 44 Stanford Witt Foundation Chevrolet. Down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4 we go. 30 laps to go next time by. Five in the 44 through turns 1 and 2. All over each other's bumpers once again out here tonight. Side by side through turns 3 and 4. Both of these drivers really knowing how to show their stuff. Ty Sykes crashing and down pit road. One of Sykes slowing down off of the racetrack. Just into the pit road now. Stopping, almost coming to a full stop. Just at the pit road entry as the 44 sneaks back up the inside of the 5. 5 of Henderson seems to have the better runs on the high side. 44 Benzine's door to door with them. Pushing him all the way up to the wall, across the start-finish line we go. Still side by side, Henderson and 5. Whoa! Henderson almost sliding down into the 44, clobbering him. Managed to get away just in time. 44 of Ensign doing the best he can to block that 5 all the way down the backstretch. Needs to claim the inside, letting Henderson have it for just a moment there. Henderson backing out early, trying to get that extra steering so he can lay on the throttle and run that bottom line. 5 of Henderson up the inside we go once again. 44 of Ensign stuck on the outside through the quad oval. Get back in line with Henderson and continue the game of leapfrog as the 44 gets run up into the wall this time. Off of turns 1 and 2, 44 trying to get that momentum built off of turn 2. Running that mid lane on the exit. Down the backstretch we go once again. The ultimate game of leapfrog at 180 miles an hour out here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. With the Wild West Racing League 1987 Legend Series out here tonight. Brought to you in part by WYO Outlaw Custom Diecast, the Stanford Witt Foundation, Redline Radio, and Raiders Wasteland, the premier DayZ experience on Xbox, veteran-owned and operated. Raiders Wasteland offering something for every gamer looking to survive the zombie apocalypse. Weekly events for PvE and PvP players in different maps for all to enjoy. Join the Discord today at Raider PvE, RAIDER PvE. This broadcast is also brought to you in part by Rock Bottom Racing, Tier 1 Wraps, Tier 1 Setup Shops, and Tier 1 Studios here on YouTube. Henderson pulling away from Ensign. Ensign now a full second back, pretty much. Back through turns 1 and 2. .44 Ensign still falling back off of Dakota Henderson. Keith Ayers still down pit road. 78 of Cliff Adams down in 6th. Last car on the lead lap out here tonight. .78 of Cliff Adams trying to keep up with the lead pack here. 21.7 behind the leaders. Will Moore, 18.7 behind. Brighton Coleman, 12.3 behind. Scott Rush in third, 11.5 behind. Tanner Ensign, 1.5 behind. And Dakota Henderson still leading the way out here tonight with 21 laps to go this time by. Scott Rush running out here in third. Brighton Coleman just a little bit behind him, a full second back. Michael Lovelace in the 68 Meals on Wheels and Water Wheel Foundation, number 68, splitting the two, 18 laps down from the leader. Doing the best he can out here tonight, despite a botched start, which happens, unfortunately, in racing. Here for Scott Rush, still holding off the 68 of Michael Lovelace as we roll through turns 1 and 2 once again, jumping back up to Dakota Henderson, running in a world by himself at the moment as we go through the quad oval. Number 5, Valvoline Chevrolet. 18 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Iva Henderson into turns 3 and 4 we go. Still trying to put the power down and run away with this race as he's now 2 1/10 up on Tanner Ensign. Michael Lovelace down pit road. John Sauer down 19 laps, down 20 now. Believe he is out of the race. Only 9 cars left in this race. Brandon Harris also out. They're jumping back into the field a little bit. Let's go on down to Michael Loveless in the 68 with 15 laps to go in the race. Loveless down 10 minutes, 57 and a half seconds out here tonight in terms of overall time. Not the race he definitely wanted to open the new 1987 Legends season with, but hey, putting in the laps out here tonight, that's what matters. Do the best you can with what you've got. That means you have to have a pretty shitty race. That's the way it is. Sorry for the language there, but it's just the truth. Trying to run down the one of Ty Sykes just ahead of him. Ty Sykes 4.5 minutes up on Michael Loveless. Twelve laps to go. Jumping back up to Tanner Ensign now. 2.5 behind Dakota Henderson. Scott Rush over 10 seconds behind him. Scott Rush up 4 seconds to Brighton Coleman. Coleman up over 10 on Cliff Adams. Adams, I believe, is up a lap on Keith Ayers. Keith Ayers up a lap on Will Moore. Ty Sykes down 11. Michael Loveless down 19. John Sauer, I believe, is out. Down 25, 26 laps now. Brandon Harris out. Jacob Schaffet never made it into the session. And me, Pat Wilkinson, up in the booth. Dakota Henderson with 10 laps to go out here tonight. Ruku, I believe, our only viewer in the chat tonight. Appreciate it, buddy. Yep, we have had a grand total of 2 total viewers out here tonight. It's fine. It's fine. 9 laps to go for Dakota Henderson, just destroying the field out here tonight as he goes up to 3 seconds ahead of Tanner Ensign. Let's go inside the cockpit for just a little bit here. On the gyro cam, actually. Watch a master at work, Dakota Henderson, for just a few laps here. Get some 1987 ASMR going for a little bit of racing action out here tonight here at Charlotte in the dying laps of this race, coming down to 7 laps to go. all the way down the front stretch into turns 1 and 2, really trying to wrangle this car around the steep banks here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, beautiful North Carolina. Down the backstretch into turn 3, letting off just at the edge of the banking. Slowly rolling back onto the throttle, right down to the white lines on the bottom of the racetrack. 6 laps to go. Off of turn 2 we go, trying to run down the 78 of Cliff Adams, put the 5th place car a lap down out here tonight. Back off of turn 2 we go, 5 laps to go. Four laps to go now for Dakota Henderson as we charge through the start-finish line and back through the quad oval into turns 1 and 2. Back off of turns 3 and 4. 78 of Cliff Adams now down a lap down. Now a lap down. Blah, 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 blah. 3 laps to go for Dakota Henderson, trying to keep that speed up through turns 1 and 2. Just destroy the field as he is now 4 seconds ahead of Tanner Ensign. Half a lap up on Scott Rush. Almost 20 seconds ahead of Brighton Coleman. A lap up on both Cliff Adams and Keith Ayers. 2 laps up on Will Moore. Ty Sykes down 11, Michael Lovelace down 19, John Sauer down 33, Brandon Harris out. Me and Jacob Schaffet up in the booth and failed to start with 2 laps to go for Dakota Henderson. Back into turns 3 and 4 we go. Dakota Henderson doing the best he can to run this race out without any further problem out here tonight. Oh, white flag, white flag, white flag is in the air. We've seen 2 flags out here tonight, the green and the white. Perfect race for everybody out here tonight with the Wild West Racing League. You see, once in a blue moon, we can actually do it. It takes us only having 9 or 8 cars left in the race, but we can do it. Down the backstretch we go into turn 3. Dakota Henderson with the race of a lifetime. Started in 5th, got up to the lead early, and just destroyed the field out here tonight. Henderson all the way up to 7,500 RPM, crossed the start-finish line. Winning the race out here tonight, Tanner Ensign in 2nd, Scott Rush in 3rd, Brighton Coleman in 4th. Cliff Adams, Keith Ayers, Will Moore, Ty Sykes, Michael Lovelace, John Sauer, Brandon Harris, Jacob Schaffet, all out of the race. Dakota Henderson, this is Pat Wilkinson up the booth. You got me.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. Congratulations on a fantastic win out here tonight in that number 5 Valvoline machine here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the opening of the 1987 series.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Off to a good start. Still a long season, so we'll see how it goes. And just go from there. Build on this and hopefully get that W for the get that ship. Ooh, words were hard for me there.
Happens. Well, hey, hopefully there's a little bit of extra competition for you in the coming weeks here. Because, no offense to anybody, but, 7 or 8, 9, 10, 11 cars ain't exactly a huge field. Be nice to have a little bit more action out here tonight, but hey, it's the way it goes. Congratulations.
Yep, W.
Congratulations regardless. One heck of a race out there tonight. Having led 64 of the 80 laps out here tonight, is there anything else you'd like to add before we sign off?
I just keep Timmy and his family in your prayers. His dad's going back through some stuff again. And other than that, thanks Tanner and Wild West for putting on the events, and thank you Tier 1 and yourself for the broadcast. And see y'all next week.
Appreciate that. Thank you once again for joining us up in the booth. Congratulations on the win out here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we'll see you next time. How does that sound?
See you then. Don't threaten me.
Best of luck, buddy. Congratulations.
Good one.
Let's get Tanner Ensign in here. Tanner Ensign, this is Pat Wilkinson up in the booth. You got me.
Got you, Pat. How you doing tonight, buddy?
We're doing. Congratulations on the second place finish out here tonight. 3.5 behind the leader out here tonight with the Wild West Racing League. Talk us through it.
Dakota was the fastest car all night, no doubt. I think Brighton was the second fastest car. He just ended up getting some wheel damage. And then we were third fastest. But, good run for the Stand for Wit Foundation, Chevy Monte Carlo. If Dakota didn't bounce it off the wall a couple times, we wouldn't even had that battle that we had with 25 to go or whatever it was. So, good run for us. I think I'm surprised that with how difficult these things are to drive that we went green the whole time. So that's
am I.
pretty
I'm
neat.
going to be honest. I was a bit amazed by that.
Yeah, I really thought
how did we do this?
That's what hurt us. Was I feel like our cars were set up real good for 15, 20 lap runs. Anything after that, they'd trail off and cook the right front tire. And it showed. I could hang with Dakota for 15 or 20 laps. We were neck and neck each time we were on fresh tires. But as soon as they started getting hot, just faded off. So, but good run tonight. Congratulations to him. Thanks to you, Pat. Thanks to Tier 1 Studios, Wild Outlaw Custom Diecast, all the guys back at the virtual Enzyme Motorsports shop. And we'll keep plucking away. We're going to go win some of these.
Congratulations once again. Thanks for joining us up in the booth, and best of luck to you for the next race tomorrow night at the Coliseum on the dirt.
Yep, thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Unfortunately, our friend Scott Rush does not appear to be here for a post-race interview, so I believe that's where we are going to call it for the night. We thank you all for joining us tonight here at Tier 1 Studios. Always appreciate the support. This broadcast was brought to you in part by WIO Outlaw Custom Diecast, the Stand for Wit Foundation, Redline Radio, and Raiders Wasteland, the premier DayZ experience on Xbox, veteran-owned and operated. Raiders Wasteland offering something for every gamer looking to survive the zombie apocalypse. Weekly events for PvE and PvP players, and different maps for all to enjoy. Join the Discord today at Raider PvE, RAIDER PvE. This broadcast is also brought to you in part by Rock Bottom Racing, Tier 1 Wraps, Tier 1 Setup Shops, and Tier 1 Studios here on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more racing action here at Tier 1 Studios. We'll be back tomorrow night with the Wild West Racing League ARCA Series for the start of the chase at Bristol's Coliseum on the dirt. And we'll be back on Tuesday and Wednesday with the Late Model Series and the Gen 4 Cup Series with the Wild West crew. Friday, we'll be back with the Dutch's Dirty Dozen in the Next Gens. Saturday, we'll be back at Wild West Motorsports Park with the Core Champions Off-Road Racing Esports League. And then, once again, back here on Sunday with the 1987 Legends Series, here with the Wild West. Thanks for joining us tonight on a beautiful Sunday night here in New England. My name's Pat Wilkinson, up in the booth. This has been Tier 1 Studios and the Wild West Racing League Legends Series of 1987. And until next time, goodbye, farewell, and amen.
Yeah. fired up. This one's for the drivers. Out in the shop, late night lights, grease on our hands, chasing lap times, every turn, every line we find. Trying to build that edge you feel when you drive. From the blacktop tracks to the dirt out back, we've been putting in work, yeah, we live like that. Not just fast for a lap, we make it last. So when it counts, you're gone on the gas. We don't guess, we know what it takes. Every setup built from the ground, we break. If you want that feel when the car locks in, you're in the right place. Let's go win. Yeah, we built one. Yeah, we built for the win. Hammer down, let it ride, do it all again. From the green flag flying to the checkered drop, with a reason you're leading tier one. Set up shop tier one. Take it straight to the front. League nights, open runs, we're the ones you want. Dialed in speed, yeah, we don't miss shots. If you wanna win races, tier one, set up shop. Got weekly sets ready, ready to roll. Quality trim sharp, race pace control. Builders in the lab, yeah, they stay on it. Every tweak, every change we gain on it. Need a custom fit, yeah, we do that too. Built to match your style, what you like to do. And it ain't just speed, it's a team right here. We ride together every lap, every gear, yeah, we test, we tune, we put in the miles. Turn bad weeks into victory smiles. From rookies to pros, we're all about growth. Now fire that motor, let's get to the front. Yeah, we built for the win, yeah, we built for the win. Hammer down, let it ride, do it all again. From the green flag flying to the checkered drop, we're the reason you're leading tier one. Set up shop tier one. Yeah, you know the name. When the pressure's on, we bring the game. From the shop to the track, yeah, we don't stop. If you wanna win races, tier one, set up shop. See you in Victor Lane. Tier one, set up shop. Tier one.